The Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs had quite a few significant accomplishments in 2011. We not only carried out the ongoing mission to foster long-term mutual understanding, ECA programs also responded quickly to foreign policy challenges and advanced American interest and standing around the world. ECA exchanges and programs support U.S. foreign policy in high-priority countries. One of the many great examples, which bolstered ECA exchanges with Pakistan and expanded professional, cultural, and academic exchanges, was the transfer of $28.7 million of ESF funds. This new funding also made Pakistan's Fulbright Foreign Scholar and Student and English Access programs the largest in the world. In terms of people, 386 Pakistani Fulbrighters studied in the U.S. in the 2010 to 2011 academic year. In Afghanistan, Ambassador Ryan Crocker marked the completion of ECA's largest ever Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation project, the restoration of the historic citadel of Herat, garnering worldwide media attention. ECA also participated in several high-level dialogues. Earlier this year, Assistant Secretary Stock chaired the first bilateral meeting of the U.S.-Iraq Joint Consultative Committee on Educational, Cultural, and Scientific Cooperation. And the November meeting of the Iraq-U.S. Higher Coordinating Committee in Baghdad highlighted ECA's engagement to strengthen cultural and educational cooperation. ECA programs were, and continue to be, instrumental in addressing the needs and opportunities of a rapidly changing Middle East. We also compiled a list of 242 critical heritage sites in Libya, which NATO safeguarded during its efforts there. And following the end of the Gaddafi regime, ECA promptly re-established the English Access and U.S. Fulbright programs. We received 1,700 applications, a record number 10 times the previous years. ECA also resumed the International Visitor Leadership Program in Libya. Our first post-conflict Libyan participant visited the U.S. in October. ECA exchanges focused on democratic and social reform in this region. To start, Egyptian and Tunisian alumni of our exchange programs began a series of digital web conferences to share ideas. A special IVLP brought 17 youth leaders to the U.S. to examine political engagement strategies. 2 more IVLP projects brought emerging Tunisian leaders to the U.S. in September to examine entrepreneurship and transparency in government. ECA also managed key components of U.S. bilateral relations through strategic dialogues and other initiatives with countries including Russia, Brazil, India, Indonesia, and China. As part of the U.S.-Brazil Global Partnership Dialogue, ECA supports the Brazilian government's efforts to send 75,000 of its students abroad, half of them to the U.S. And Embassy Brasilia and Consulate Sao Paulo hosted the first 650 of those students in December for a pre-departure event. October's U.S.-India Higher Education Summit, hosted by Secretary Clinton, brought together 300-plus higher education leaders from both countries. India's Fulbright Nehru exchange program has tripled over the past 3 years. Now, more U.S. faculty go to India through the Fulbright program than anywhere else. Through our comprehensive partnership with Indonesia, we're tripling the number of Fulbright Indonesia Research, Science, and Technology Program participants and launching a new community college exchange. And our Higher Education Summit with Indonesia engaged more than 100 academic and private sector leaders from both countries in a productive dialogue. And over in Europe, Secretary Clinton signed an ECA-implemented bilateral agreement with Greece to protect its cultural heritage. ECA also continued the long-standing U.S. goal to empower women, youth, and other underserved communities through our sports, education, and business exchanges. We were especially excited about Tech Women, our newest program to encourage women entrepreneurs in the Middle East and North Africa. We welcomed the first 37 tech women for 5-week mentorships at Silicon Valley technology companies with key women leaders there. We followed up in October when our American mentors visited Morocco. They led roundtable discussions and networking events on business and technology with local women and girls. In participation with the 5 leading U.S. women's colleges, we also launched exchange programs in conjunction with the Women in Public Service Project, which aims to build a future where women are at least half of the world's political and civic leaders. ECA introduced new technologies to expand our outreach capability and even teach English. In Tunisia, local youth told Embassy Tunis and ECA that they wanted to learn English. So, we developed the State Department's first mobile phone software program to teach them. Today, millions of subscribers have access to M-English, thanks to our partnership with Tunisia's largest cell service provider and an NGO content developer. ECA English teaching webinars set new online records for worldwide participation. We reached several thousand teachers in over 60 countries. We also explored new models for public-private partnerships, both to draw on private sector strengths and to stretch limited public resources. That includes a new partnership with the Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages International Professional Association. Together, we will connect resources in the U.S. with teachers' needs and opportunities abroad. We also teamed up with New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art and U.S. embassies abroad to promote the reopening of the Met's Islamic art galleries in October. 270 U.S. embassies, including 25 in the Arab world, will display exhibit highlights, and our English teaching classrooms will be using the museum's educational materials. ECA programs help the State Department shape the foreign policy narrative and foster mutual understanding among Americans and the international community. Today, we send more American students to study in China than any other country in the world. And due to ECA outreach and increasing program opportunities, the number of American high school students traveling abroad on ECA youth exchanges increased by 67% last year. In addition, 30% more American students applied for continuing programs. 2011 was an exciting year for the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. We can't wait for new challenges and successes in 2012.